headset properly set. This is Michael Rabinowitz checking in with you guys on the 8th of March. Just a follow up with my Sunday night analysis of today's trade and how it played out. So I'm going to cut right to it and let's take a quick look here. What's in front of you right now is basically your 15-minute rate chart here. And then I got the daily, and this is how I provided that information yesterday before any of this even took place and talked about these areas, specifically 78, how big that area was. And you can just see from the daily, I mean, that trend line was in play for a week, 2 weeks, and we came right, and then here is a good way of seeing it without absolutely any indicators. And then look at the indicator right there, the moving average on a daily, tapped it, and they fought it. They fought that area for a while, but at the end of the day, it was an extension that was just overdone, and they you just couldn't find follow through up there, and they rolled it. And in fact, this turned out to be a two-tier day. Great run to the top, and then a rollover. And ideally, when I spoke to you guys, my analysis just last night was that the objective was to find the best opportunity to the long side. But the way I play it, I'm just way more patient, and it didn't come into play. And just for me per se, I mean, there's a lot of traders out there, swing traders that by by far and away would have taken advantage of this. Just basically on what I have been talking about, moving averages, the locations, and being patient and being prepared and ready to execute when they come into play. And when I spoke to you on Sunday night, I was more into the lower level. I was hoping. I mean, for me, it's about locations. It was 38.05 down. And I think I talked about it briefly in my summary because I gave you guys a lot of downside objectives to take advantage of a turn. And this is one of those mornings where the market proved itself and they drove it, and they drove it hard. But let's take a really good look here. There's your daily. That's what I talked about. And let's take a little quick look at the intraday and how this played out and how significant these areas are that I keep preaching. It's awareness on your part. It's only gonna benefit your trading by being on top of these locations and what the trend is doing at these locations. So take a quick look at my 15-minute chart here and cut me some slack on this breakdown of these opening range. Looks like Pac-Man's about to chow on this stuff, but I'm showing this because that's a higher range. It's about 61, and their lows were 35. And I'm showing these two arrows because once again, it's about the moving averages. And this morning, right here in this blue box, and I probably should have paid more attention to it, but I am what I am, and I trade my own style. So I'm a little more patient, but it doesn't mean that this wasn't an opportunity. They came to the MAs and they provided a long for the morning. I just took the other side of the market. My objective was for it to come down to my area to get the long, or option two, take advantage of the short up at 75 to 78, and that's how I played it. And it was they kept it up there. I had to stop. I never got taken out. I took two cracks at it. I got rolled out on my first crack at it, and I took it again. And you really need to take a good look at what happened in the afternoon, and I call it a two-tier day, because once they rolled again late in the day, they just jumped on it. But you need to take a look at where it all happened. You got this huge breakdown, and this was pretty much the chart to your right. Is this a more in depth, I believe, playout of this morning? I got to get a little better at this. It's not, I can't remember where we opened this morning. Um, but at the end of the day, the early morning range was 35 to 60. I played the short side of it because obviously my objective was to go toward a pivot, which never happened. So the game was to the upside, and they were bullying it. And I chose to be patient and wait for my locations. And you can see that they chose to hold up at the moving averages, and when a market's really in a solid bullish state and it's accelerating, usually it has the first crack and first indicator. Um, I'll be right back.